place we are in. And I want to agree with the Honorable Martha that maybe we don't get into too much into the details, but it is important that as we proceed, the government must come up with maybe a commission of
public participation that was done on this particular bill, and also the proposed amendments that may be in this particular bill or in their report. However, before we take a look at some of the amendments that shall be considered this afternoon, we should be able to understand deeply what basically this particular bill seeks to attain. And it is a bill that seeks to establish a comprehensive legal framework to promote the improvement of the quality of healthcare in Kenya by establishing standards, accreditation mechanisms, and ensuring the protection and promotion of patients' rights. Now, you will understand that the Constitution also gives this particular provision for the rights to every person, the right to healthcare. This is Article 43, Subarticle 1A, on economics and social rights. And 43 1A indicates that every person has the right to the highest attainable standard of health, which includes the right to healthcare services, including reproductive healthcare. And in this particular regard, this is a bill that seeks to give life to that particular, or give effect to that particular article of the Constitution, to provide for the responsibility of the national and county governments in the realization of quality of healthcare for patients. Also to provide for the establishment, powers, and functions of the Quality Healthcare and Patient Safety Authority. This is an authority that the bill proposes to establish, and also to be able for the registration, licensing, and accreditation of health facilities to be able to provide for the setting of standards for quality of healthcare. Now, you all know that health is a devolved function, and of course, this bill speaks into the functions and also the responsibilities from the national level to the county level regarding the implementation of this particular bill, or these amendments that or this particular bill that is coming to ensure that the healthcare that is given to the patients who visit the health facilities is top-notch, and of course to be able to also reduce, if not curb, the many cases perhaps of negligence that have been witnessed in various health facilities. However, we have seen the Speaker of the National Assembly making his way into the chamber. That is the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Dr. Moses Masika Wetangula. He will be presiding over this afternoon sitting. You will allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umetoa nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu. Tukusihi utazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao wameridhika kutuita tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri yetu. Tunakuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa, na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikisha mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako ziendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu, na wale ambao haja zao wamezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Sergeant, ring the quorum bell.
at the plenary. So these are members who are walking into the chamber, of course, to join their colleagues for this plenary sitting. So earlier on, I had indicated to you that the Quality Healthcare and Patient Safety Bill is coming up for consideration at the committee of the whole house stage. That means this particular bill has already gone through the other processes or the whole process or the other stages. That is the consideration at the public participation stage as well as debate on the floor of the House. So this is the time where if there were any amendments that may have been moved, then will be presented and considered whether to be adopted or to be withdrawn. But the significance of this bill majorly lies in shifting the country's healthcare focus from increasing access to also guaranteeing quality, safety, accountability and protection of the patient's rights. I had indicated earlier that this stems from the provisions of the Constitution that ensures that every person has the right to quality healthcare. That is Article 43(1)(a). And some of the contents of this bill is that, or rather why it matters in this country or in the Kenyan context, is that it gives effect to the constitutional right to health care. And it also clarifies the responsibilities of both national and county governments in ensuring quality health care. We have seen the sergeant at arms indicating or signaling to the House that the quorum has been attained. And that means I should be able to be handing this business back to the House for you to be able to follow. The bill also establishes uniform quality standards. You will realize that one of Kenya's longest challenges has been uneven healthcare quality across counties and facilities. And the bill now seeks to establish the national standards for healthcare quality, also accreditation, licensing, and continuous monitoring of health facilities, also to strengthen the patient's safety, also to protect, or rather protect the patient's rights. The bill also addresses the gaps in regulation that may have been loopholes that have affected the implementation of some of the policies that are already existing. The quorum, remember the quorum has already been attained. Once the Speaker calls the House to order for the business to commence, I shall be able to hand this business for you to follow. It also supports the universal health coverage system and also the Social Health Authority. Well,
Honorable
allow me to hand you over now.
members, we
Good
now
afternoon.
have quorum to transact business. Clerk.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable members, I have a communication on the appointment of members to a mediation committee on the Division of Revenue Bill 2026. Honorable members, as you are aware, on Tuesday, 26 May 2026, the House rejected the motion on consideration of the Senate amendments to the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2026. This decision consequently remitted the bill to a mediation committee in accordance with the provisions of Article 1122B of the Constitution and Standing Order 1491A. Honorable members, Article 1131 of the Constitution provides that whenever a bill is referred to a mediation committee, the speakers of both houses of parliament shall appoint an equal number of members from each house to attempt to develop a version of the bill that will be passed by both houses. In this regard, having consulted with the leader of the majority party and the leader of the minority party, I have appointed the following members to represent the National Assembly in the Mediation Committee to consider the said bill. 1, the Honorable Samuel Atandi, CBS MP, whom I have designated to be the co-chair. 2, the Honorable Dr. Robert Bukose, CBS MP. 3, the Honorable Naisula Lesuda, CBS MP. 4, the Honorable Jane Kagiri, OGWMP. 5, the Honorable Ekomas Mutuse, OGWMP. 6, the Honorable Christopher Aseka, MP. And 7, the Honorable Javeth Nyakundi, MP. Honorable members, the aforementioned members will await the appointment of senators to the Mediation Committee for the committee to be fully constituted for purposes of commencing the mediation process. Once I receive a message from the Senate to that effect, I'll report it to the House forthwith. Thereafter, the Mediation Committee will embark on an attempt to develop a mediated version of the bill for consideration by the Houses of Parliament in accordance with the provisions of Article 113 of the Constitution. You are accordingly guided. While on my feet, honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's Gallery, Thika High School, Thika West, Kiambu. I'm reliably informed that is the school where our clerk, Samuel Njoroge, went to. To St. Angela Kiriaini. St. Angela Kiriaini girls from Mathioya, Muranga. In the public gallery, we have Muguna Girls School from Mara, Tarakaniti. And Nun Kopir Girls School from Kajiado East, Kajiado. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Thank you. Next.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee. The Honorable Atandi had informed me he will be slightly late, so we'll accord him an opportunity to table his report as soon as he comes into the chamber. Chairperson, Public Debt and Privatization Committee, Shurie.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 2nd June 2026. Report of the Public Debt and Privatization Committee on its consideration of the expenditures of the Consolidated Fund Services under the financial year 26-27 budget estimates. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee, that suffers the same fate. When he comes, we'll allow him to table the report and give notice of motion. Chairperson, Public Debt.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Public Debt and Privatization Committee on its consideration of the expenditures of the Consolidated Fund Services under the budget estimates for the financial year 26-27, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 2nd June 2026. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Onesimus Ngogoyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Housing, Urban Planning, Public Works regarding the collapse of a story building under construction at Olenairi area in Kajiado County, Ololua Ward. Honorable Speaker, on Friday, 8th of May, 2026, an 8-story building that was under construction in Olenairi on parcel number Ngongong 107078, registered under Matthew Kipkoech Keter, partially collapsed, trapping 4 construction workers beneath the rubble. A multi-agency rescue operation was launched to attempt to rescue the trapped construction workers. Regrettably, the conclusion of the rescue mission on the 12th of May, 4 bodies were recovered. They were identified as 1, Douglas Simiu Wesonga, Mr. Emmanuel Mumunya Maende, Jeremiah Mutunga, and Moses Otieno Ngongi. Honorable Speaker, preliminary findings raise serious questions about the non-compliance with regulatory requirements and standard, the quality of works prior to the collapse of the building, and raises doubt as to whether the construction, Coastlink Building Works Limited, was duly registered by the National Construction Authority. Further, the Olenairi area lies within the flight path zone where construction height is restricted to a maximum of 4-story. Yet the collapsed structure had reached 8 floors, raising concerns on whether the project was approved by the relevant agencies. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Housing, Urban Planning, Public Works on the following. 1, a report on the circumstances that led to the collapse of the 8-story building at Olenairi area on the 8th of May 2026 in Ololu Ward, including copies of the approval granted for the project, whether Coastlink Building Works Limited was registered at the time of the collapse of the building, and whether the construction complied with the approvals and the NCA standards. 2, an explanation on how the collapsed building had risen as high as 8-story at the time of the collapse, yet the area is within a flight path zone restricted to 4 stories, and action taken for violation. 3, the steps taken to resettle tenants and homeowners who have moved as a result of the collapse of this building, and the support being extended to the families of the deceased workers. 4, the measures taken to restore the access road, Olenairi to Ololua, destroyed during the clearance of the rubble from the site of the collapsed building. 5, the measures in place to ensure that the workers across Kenya are covered by adequate occupational safety and health protection and compensation framework. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair Housing. Majority Leader informed the Chair Housing to bring a response in 2 weeks.
Speaker.
Yes, Ngogoyo.
Yeah, I want to request you, Mr. Speaker, because of this building collapsing, around a circumference of about 500 meters, people are evacuated. 1 week would be too long for specifically one question, because you see the National Disaster Management Authority was to declare whether there is harm, so that because people are removed from their houses and are outside without any plan. So I want to request that it becomes 1 week, because people are outside, they left their houses.
Majority Leader, can you endeavor to Wednesday next week? Or at least a preliminary.
We can get the committee to give him a preliminary report next week on Tuesday, Wednesday latest.
Thank you. Brighton Yegon, member for Konoin.
Yes, I'm requesting for a statement regarding the killing of a minor in Konoin constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the brutal killing of one Mr. Brian Kiprotich in Konoin constituency. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Brian Kiprotich, a 17-year-old minor, lost his life under unclear circumstances. It is reported that the minor succumbs to injuries sustained following an assault by the security guard while harvesting tea leaves at Brown's East Africa Limited, formerly Unilever Tea, in Konoin constituency. The matter was reported at Konoin Police Station under OB number 11/25/5/2026. However, the family of the deceased is yet to receive any information regarding the arrest and prosecution of the person alleged to have been involved in the incident. Honorable Speaker, it is unfortunate that the minor lost his life in such a cruel and unlawful manner. The incident raises serious concerns regarding the protection of the right to life, the observance of rights of children, and adherence of the rule of law, and it has also triggered widespread hunger, fear, grief among residents of Konoin constituency who demand justice for Brian. This is not an isolated case, as there are several other cases of killings reported in the company. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security to appraise the House on the following. Number one, a report on the circumstance surrounding the killing of 17-year-old boy at Brown's East Africa Limited in Konoin constituency. Number two, the progress made in investigation into the death and measures being taken against those responsible in the incident. Number three, the interventions being implemented to cap cases of mob justice and violence against children across the country. And number four, the measures being taken to ensure companies and institutions observe human rights standards and law procedures in handling suspected wrongdoings. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. It was directed to Chair Security. Wapi Tongoyo or his Vice Chair? Inform them to respond in 2 weeks. Mada Wangari, member for Gilgil.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, even as I make this statement, indulge me to thank you and the House on your moment of silence on the Utumishi Academy that you did, and the visits that we got from some members who are here and who are not in the House, but they came. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 43, I rise to make a general statement regarding the fire tragedy that occurred at Utumishi Girls Senior School in Gilgil constituency. Honorable Speaker, on the night of Thursday, 28th May 2026, 16 innocent young lives were lost following a tragic fire incident that occurred at Utumishi Girls Senior School, while 79 learners sustained injuries and are admitted in different hospitals in the country. Mr. Speaker, this unfortunate incident has left scores of students, parents, guardians, teaching staff, support staff, and members of the wider community traumatized. To many, life will never be the same again. As you are aware, Mr. Speaker, our country has experienced a similar tragic incident in learning institutions over the years, each leaving behind grief, disruption, and repeated pleas for reform. Various commissions of inquiry, task forces, and investigative bodies have previously made recommendations aimed at strengthening safety and preventing recurrence of such incidents. However, the implementation of these recommendations has remained inconsistent. The Utumishi Girls Senior School has now joined the statistics of another tragedy caused by failure to implement previous reports of safety for our children in schools. Honorable Speaker, I wish to acknowledge and commend the Government of Kenya through the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Interior and National Administration, Ministry of Defense, National Police Service, the DCI, the Red Cross team, the medical personnel, the county health services, the emergency responders, the counselors, school leadership, and all stakeholders who have been involved in rescue operations, the medical intervention, psychosocial support, and ongoing coordination following this tragedy. Honorable Speaker, As we reflect on this painful tragedy, we must also acknowledge a difficult reality that the responsibility of raising, guiding, and protecting our children cannot rest solely on our schools or on government. The molding of a child begins at home, it is reinforced in school, and is strengthened by the wider community. These events should compel the public to undertake a national reflection on whether every stakeholder is fully discharging their responsibility. Honorable Speaker, this tragic incident raises urgent and recurring national concerns requiring comprehensive attention, particularly in regard to 1, fire safety preparedness and compliance standards in boarding schools across the country. Number 2, the effectiveness of surveillance systems, including CCTV installation, monitoring and response protocols in learning institutions. Number 3, the adequacy and timeliness of emergency response mechanisms during such incidents. Number 4, the roles and responsibility of school administrators and relevant government agencies in safeguarding learners. Number 5, the psychosocial support system for learners, parents, teachers, and other stakeholders exposed to trauma. And finally, the broader issue of discipline and lack thereof in our institutions. Honorable Speaker, I urge the Ministry of Education through the committee of this House to strengthen oversight by fully decentralizing and operationalizing safety, security, and welfare monitoring mechanisms at the constituency level. Every constituency should have a clearly defined framework, bringing together education officers, school administrations, boards of management, parents, representatives, security agencies, and local leadership to regularly review compliance with safety standards, learner welfare, and discipline management. Prevention must become a local responsibility before it becomes a national crisis. Honorable Speaker, it is also imperative that we empower our learners to be actively involved in the implementation of key recommendations by the relevant ministries and agencies with a specificity on their security. May this tragedy serve as a turning point in our national commitment to the safety, security, and well-being of every learner. I wish to honor and pay tribute to the 16 learners who perished in this tragedy. May their souls rest in eternal peace, and may their families find peace. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mother. As I give one or two of you to comment, I've been requested by the member for the area that there is serious ongoing homicide investigations. So those of you who want to make interventions, just steer clear of the possibility of prejudicing the ongoing investigations. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, once again, allow me to begin by conveying my very deep condolences to the families of the young girls who lost their lives in Gilgil, Utumishi Academy. Honorable Speaker, even this afternoon as we welcome the students in the Speaker's Gallery, Thika High School, Muguna Girls, Nun Kupir from Kajiado East, and St. Angela from Kirene and Muranga, to also take this opportunity to speak to these students and ask them to honor not just the schools where they are attending, but also their parents, their teachers, and their colleagues in the schools. Because, Honorable Speaker, as you have said, cognizant of the fact that there is an ongoing investigation into the tragedy at Utumishi Academy, we must also, as a nation, come together at this time. Not only to speak to ourselves as parents, but also to speak to our students as our children, and implore on them on the need to grow up as responsible citizens. And I say that, Honorable Speaker, because at least I have had time to engage with some of these students today. I have just met the students' president from Thika High, Terence Githuku, who is in the Speaker's Gallery, and two of his deputies. And I had occasion to visit Thika High together with yourself about a week or two ago, last Friday, but one actually. And today, Honorable Speaker, you have presented the contribution of members of Parliament, including yourself and a number of us, to support. And when I went through that list of the students being supported, I've seen some students with fees arrears of up to 120,000 shillings, who, out of the benevolence of members of Parliament, they now have support to continue their education. And these are the sacrifices parents make, and we are making as leaders also to support many of these students. When we went to Thika High School, Honorable Speaker, there was a young man who is seated in the Speaker's gallery today, Isaac Mwai, who went to the school that I went to, Kikuyu Township Primary School. That young man went to Kikuyu Township Primary School, and he reminded the president when he met him at the science exhibition, that when the president 3 years ago went to commission KCPE at Kikuyu Township Primary School, that young man was a student at Kikuyu Township Primary School. But out of sheer discipline, he's now found himself in Thika High School, a very good school, and together with Terence Githuku and the other students, they are leading a student's body. And I want to speak to these young ones and ask them, please maintain discipline in school as you do at home. Many of the cases you hear, especially in this second term, Honorable Speaker, is because students probably are fatigued and want to go home. If you want to go home, you do not need to burn down anything. Not a dormitory, not a classroom, not a school bus, nothing. Honorable Speaker, I heard the governor for Nakuru over the weekend pose the question, could these young ones be learning from us that whenever we want to protest, we must burn down buildings, we must burn down people's shops and people's cars? I saw the other week, people were protesting in Githurai and they had to burn down somebody's car. We must lead by example as leaders, and as parents, not just as leaders, as the people who are parents, anybody who is a parent or an aspiring parent. If we want to protest on anything as a country, let us not have fires everywhere, because these children could be copying from us or from the country. Therefore, I say that careful not to condemn anybody, Honorable Speaker, but to plead with the nation that we learn from our past mistakes. When the school in Ukambani, I think it was Changuli High School, when we lost 67 students in that school, there were measures that were taken, some of which I believe were already in place in this school. But that tells you we have a deeper problem than the physical things that we do. I don't know whether it will be enough to even put fire detectors and fire suppression systems in all these schools, but can we afford it as a country? Will parents be able to afford fire suppression systems in each and every dormitory in our schools, Honorable Speaker? Therefore, it calls for a deeper conversation. It is not enough, Honorable Speaker, today to just point fingers at each other. No, I heard somebody say that Parliament was praying when there was a fire in the school, Honorable Speaker. I know it's also reckless of anybody, whether you're in the media or you are a leader in whatever sphere, to claim that Parliament was praying at a time our children were burning in school, Honorable Speaker. The National Prayer Breakfast is something that rests in our calendar in Parliament. It is known, it is a set date. And we set that date last year. Nobody had planned for this fire, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, that person who was saying, and I don't to dignify them with naming them, because they don't need to be dignified from this floor, may I say, shame on you that you can take advantage of such an unfortunate incident to just throw barbs at this house. Even prayers, Honorable Speaker, I want to say, prayers work. And we must pray for our children. We must pray for our children in schools, in our homes, and as much as we pray for our nation, Honorable Speaker. Let me say again, this is a time that we are being called to converse individually in our homes with our children, collectively in schools, even on the platforms, political platforms and other platforms that we get, in our churches, because, Honorable Speaker, again, many of our church leaders have become more politicians than politicians. And that's why I continue to honor the Muslim faith, because I never hear anybody in a mosque speaking politics. But for us as Christians, this must be our time for introspection, to ask ourselves, even as we point fingers at administrators in schools, as we point fingers at political leaders, those of us who are serving in the church, where are we failing in shepherding these young ones in the right manner, Honorable Speaker? Because there is a failure somewhere. And I say that without pointing fingers at anybody, saying that it is a time that we need to come together and have a conversation as Kenyans and as humankind, Honorable Speaker, because we have a problem. And it is not a small problem, Speaker. It is a big, big, big problem. If we do not address it now, we will have more major problems in the coming days. Because these things that we see, these small incidences, a fire in a school, deaths in schools, an accident here and there, a small demonstration that turns out to become a very violent thing and you end up losing lives. These are just manifestations of a bigger problem that we must address, Honorable Speaker. My condolences to the parents. I have seen the anguish and the pain of those parents, and I identify with the pain that they feel. That you sent your young girl to go to school to secure her future, and now you have no child out of the actions of somebody else, Honorable Speaker. It is indeed painful, and I must say we must be careful what we say about these incidences, because we must remember their parents who are grieving, their siblings of those young ones. Yesterday, I was just on Facebook, Honorable Speaker, a young man share the pain that he's going through after losing the sister, and sharing pictures of the time he spent with the sister, even as she went back to school this term. And that girl is no more, Honorable Speaker. It is indeed painful, and we must share in that grief and pain with those parents and the school, and also recognize that these young ones, Honorable Speaker, even those in Utumishi, are traumatized. Maybe they never imagined it would get to what it has gotten to, but it is what it is now.
Thank you.
It will affect them for a long time, and we must ask maybe the chair of the Education Committee to make sure they engage with the Ministry of Education to make sure that there is some level of counseling that is done to these students and those who neighbor that school. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The rest, let's take 2 minutes each. Robert Mbui. Give Robert Mbui. Is it on this, Robert, or something else? There's a mic next to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, you know, I've actually in my previous life been involved one time in handling a matter of arson in a school. And Mr. Speaker, what was surprising is that the children that were involved in that case of arson, majority of them had no idea why they were involved. And only one is actually the one who had the plan, because the intention was for the school to be closed so that they could go and restock their supply of drugs because they had run out. So sometimes there are very flimsy reasons that are used to cause these cases. And Mr. Speaker, arson is a crime. Unfortunately, when arson leads to people losing their lives, it ends up becoming murder, which is another crime. So the question we are now grappling with is how then do we try a crime that is actually at such a level as murder? Because yes, we know they are children, but then what about the ones who have lost their lives? So, Mr. Speaker, it's a very, very sensitive place we are in, and I want to agree with the Honorable Martha that maybe we don't get into too much into the details, but it is important that as we proceed, the government must come up with maybe a commission of inquiry. I remember a while back we had devil worshipping in schools, and there was a commission of inquiry that dealt with it. So maybe now we need to find out what is it that is making our children, just Kenyan children. Because, Mr. Speaker, this is not a global problem. This is a Kenyan problem. Actually, arson in schools is a Kenyan problem. Are we going to have to do away with boarding schools? Yet we know that their parents and their children who have no alternative but to have their children in boarding. So, Mr. Speaker, I sympathize with the lives of those ones that those families that their children lost their lives. But I think as a government, we must find a solution going forward. But, Mr. Speaker, finally, I want to say the last time we had such cases, the Ministry of Education came up with a raft of measures, which, Mr. Speaker, sometimes is just, it's like we are treating the symptoms instead of the problem. Mr. Speaker, when the ministry says, for example, that they are not going to allow beds that are wooden in schools, I don't think that's really part of that is a solution to the problem. Because if anything, if you look at some of the international schools, they have very beautiful furniture that is wooden. Now, if you say that the beds must be metallic, what about mattresses? Are you going to make the mattresses metallic? Are you going to make the curtains metallic? So we may need to find another solution, not to deal with those things on a half-baked measures. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Dorothy Kiara. There's a lot of interest, so take a minute each.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to join Honorable Mother Wangari, MP for Gilgil, in condoling with the families that have lost their loved ones. Honorable Speaker, the immeasurable pain, torture, and torment that these parents are going through, including their teachers, the classmates who are alive, it is immeasurable, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to say sincerely, I condole with those families and wish those that are in hospital quick recovery. Honorable Speaker, it is the high time that when we talk of commission of inquiries, Honorable Speaker, something that happened when Bombolulu School was burnt down, something that happened when Changuli School was also burnt down, this commission of inquiries give recommendations, Honorable Speaker, but at the end of the day, very few recommendations are implemented. It is the high time, Honorable Speaker, that we speak our mind, we search and know what is really healing our students in our schools, come out, Honorable Speaker, and come out with the recommendations that, Honorable Speaker, will cure this. Even if it means having our schools as day schools, so be it, Honorable Speaker. Life is more precious.
Otienda Molo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I condole with the families that have lost the little ones. And I think we must accept that we have all failed the children who perished. We failed them through the school, we failed them through the government, we failed them through policies, and even we as Parliament, we are part of those who failed them. We must collectively apologize that we have failed those children. Mr. Speaker, this has become a trend. The idea of banning schools and school unrest is a trend that must be examined. As we examine ourselves, and I agree with the majority leader, we must examine the values that we are instilling in the children. We must examine the place of religion. Many of us, when we are growing up, raising a child was a collective responsibility. Now it has been left to the parent and the teacher. The teacher is disempowered because there's not much the teacher can do other than warn. Many of us parents, once we submit the child to school, we wash our hands. The child is left to the internet. Some of the things they are doing are things that clearly can only be brought from the internet. We must re-examine even the place of access to the internet for everyone. Mr. Speaker, I say only two things as I finish. One, I think it is time that as Parliament, we form an ad hoc committee to examine unrest in schools. It is not enough to leave it to the department anymore. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I think that we must also re-examine the circumstances that we're putting the schools to. If you look at the images of that school, and that's a high-end school, you see that the dormitory was highly congested. There were beds on the corridors, there were beds next to the door. This 100% transition without the proper infrastructure is part of the problem. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Meli. Okay, Meli, yield the floor, you'll speak later.
Yes? Let me comment last, yes.
Listen to others first. Yes, Mwalimu Taitumu.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. First of all, let me tender my condolences to the families that lost their young ones. Number two, Mr. Speaker, this is an exhibition of high levels of moral decadence in our society. Our moral social fabric, Honorable Speaker, is wanting. In relation to what happened in the Utumishi Academy, Mr. Speaker, some principals live in ivory tower, such that there is no flow of information from teachers to the principal, particularly where we have the girls. The men who teach there, they cannot pass information to the principals because if they do, at times they are victimized, hence bringing a gap between the administrators and the teachers who should be manning those institutions. As it has been said by the majority leader, Mr. Speaker, it is said that monkeys see, monkeys do. What is happening in our society today?
Your time is up. Mama Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi niweze kutoa rambirambi zangu kwa shule ya utumishi kwa watoto walioteketea na moto. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni jukumu letu sisi sote, na hasa nielezee wazazi jukumu la kumwachia mwanafunzi kwa mwalimu ni jukumu ambalo ni lake yeye mzazi, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, hii ni mambo ambayo yametokea, sio mara ya kwanza Mheshimiwa Spika. Ni wakati umefika mambo haya yaweze kuangaliwa, na mwalimu pia niweze kumwelezea kuwa ikiwa mwanafunzi unaona na uzito wakati wa mtihani, tusiwasukume sana. Na nielezee pia wanafunzi, na wengi wako hapa, kuanguka mtihani sio mwisho wa maisha. Pengine hii ndio inafanya mtoto anaona mtihani umetolewa tarehe 16 hadi tarehe 2 hapa anaamua kuchoma shule. Hawa ni criminals Mheshimiwa Spika, wanafaa kuwe ndani, na wazazi pia wa take responsibility. Tumepoteza watoto wengi sana Mheshimiwa Spika, akiwemo mtoto kutoka Mombasa. Kwa hiyo mimi na
Kangogo Bowen.
Mr. Speaker, let me join my colleagues also to condole with the family of the 16 girls. Mr. Speaker, and to say as a parliament and as a country, Honorable Speaker, we need to reflect and relook again this issue of boarding schools. Mr. Speaker, if you check in the developed countries, there are very few or even no boarding schools. I think we need to relook about boarding schools as a country. Number two, Honorable Speaker, we need to come up as a country and also as a ministry, and the Chairman of Education, Meli, must listen to this, Honorable Speaker. We need to have a standardized and policy, especially on the domes across the country, Honorable Speaker. You will find that there's, what we saw from those domes, they were very congested. In a cube which is supposed to take 12 girls, they are more than 12.
Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to join my colleagues to condole with the family of the 16 girls who lost their souls during the inferno. Honorable Speaker, whereas the fire was taking off in Utumishi, it also happened in my constituency. Two schools, Emulama Primary School and Ingotsa Boys High School, Honorable Speaker, together with Chabuisi High School. Honorable Speaker, this is a bad precedent that we are seeing. The issue we must look at is, can we call for a whole comprehensive understanding, maybe through Parliament and any other investigatory organization, authority, Honorable Speaker, that the Parliament sets up an ad hoc committee, the way my colleague has said, to look at what is happening in fires across the country. Honorable Speaker, listening to what is happening, quoting my place, Honorable Speaker, is that a few of my students had issues, but the principal did not bring out those issues on time, Honorable Speaker. Can we have a way of understanding?
Thank you. Maclap, death has no gender.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My very sincere condolence to the parents who lost their loving ones, and quick recovery to those students who are still having injuries. Mr. Speaker, I am one of the first members of Parliament to be in that school. together with the Minister for Education, the PS, and the Minister for Interior. So, Speaker, what I saw is not very good for this country. Mr. Speaker, even today, I am equally affected because one of the students come from Barwesa, and their father is Raymond Kangogo, Chepkonga, and up to today, they don't know where their daughter is because out of the 16, 11 students have not been able to be identified. So, Mr. Speaker, I ask also the forensic people to speed up.
Your time is up. We should try to come to an end on this. Wanjala? Wanjala?
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. First, I send condolences to the parents and Kenyans to have lost young kids. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, I want to advise Kenyans, when they are demonstrating, they should not be burning tires on the roads because these are some of the things children are seeing, and they want also that when they have a problem, they must burn schools, the way their parents and protesters burn roads. Honorable Speaker, even the parents of those children, or even the parents of those children, I saw them at the police station and they behaved like those children. That means show me your friend and I'll tell who you are. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Naomi?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My sincere condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones, the young ones. It is unfortunate that we have lost so many lives as a result of fire in schools. Again, my sincere wishes to those who are in hospital for quick recovery, as I also pray that those students will be given enough counseling, and the parents, because what they are going through is serious and they need proper attention. As a nation, again, we need to seriously address the issue of boarding schools so that we come up with clear strategies to protect our children from such incidences. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Millie Odhiambo?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I give my condolences to the families of the girls who lost their lives. Mr. Speaker, what I want to encourage us, this is not the first time as a country that we are facing this. So let us not have knee-jerk reaction to this situation, condemning parents, condemning teachers, condemning everyone, when this problem might be much bigger than this. Let us, after this, look comprehensively at what the situation is. It's not necessarily about boarding. It may not necessarily about people burning tires, but we could be facing a much deeper problem. Let us, after this, look at what is bedeviling our country, especially our young ones. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Can we end here? Omongina. You are Omsubat, you are not Omongina.
But they have given me the mic, Mr.
Omongina.
Speaker. Yeah.
Not you, Donya.
Obviously, this is Omongina. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want this afternoon to send my condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones, the very young souls who are going to be very vibrant in our country. We want to say pole sana for what has happened, and I want to talk to parents. My dear parents, wherever you are, let's take up our role as parents to advise our children, to talk to our children whenever they go to boarding schools. Those children need our guidance. They need to be taught on how to behave, on how to live with others, and for sure, this has been the greatest setback that we have had as Kenyans, and the forensic investigation should be done.
Okay, Donya.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. the issue of boarding schools, Mr. Speaker. We, as members of parliament, can pass a law that says something on boarding schools, which I suggest we should not have boarding schools because, Mr. Speaker, more deaths have come because of these boarding schools. You can all remember, honorable members, when our children open school, we are told a certain bus has caused an accident, a certain bus, all the directions where our children go. That's number one, and safety for our learners. Number two, we must have suggestion box in our schools so that our learners can express their dissatisfaction, and the committee which will be formed can go around, Mr. Speaker, and get to know what the learners are going through. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Meli, tutafungia hapo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to
order, Meli. Who do you want to inform, Karolo Mondi? He's not said anything worth being informed. Go on, Meli. Meli, go on. I give you 2 minutes as chair.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my colleagues and Kenyans in conveying my condolences to the parents, to the families, to Tumishi Academy and the Republic for the loss of the 16 children. Honorable Speaker, members have spoken here, and I want to join them and agree with them in a number of issues. But more importantly, Honorable Speaker, fires in schools and riots is not a new thing in this country. You remember the Kilifi incident where we lost so many students. A few years ago, we had the fire in Endarasha. Now we have fire in Tumishi Academy. Honorable Speaker, schools are actually a reflection of our families and societies. What has really happened, it has been recommended all these years. I remember the Kilemi Muria report, which investigated schools, and even the Koech report of 2007-2008. We had the Kilemi Muria report of 2015-16. And one of the things that they discussed, Honorable Speaker, is the safety of dormitories, safety of learners, and how those windows should be structured. In fact, through that recommendation, Honorable Speaker, they recommended schools not to have grills, that doors should open outside, and many other recommendations. Honorable Speaker, the biggest issue that we have is the implementing agencies, not sticking to policy, not sticking to programs, and more importantly, putting students, so many students, to be congested in schools. A few days ago, Honorable Speaker, you realized that we admitted grade 10, and majority of day schools in this country, with so many classrooms, enough teachers, do not have students because there was no proper admission processes, so that you'll realize a number of C1, C2 schools, crammed schools with thousands of students or hundreds of students, and they went even against the advice of the Education Committee. Honorable Speaker, I know the homicide group is investigating.
Give him 1 minute.
Yes, the homicide team is investigating. I had a discussion with the IG. They are doing a good job. I even discussed with the Member of Parliament, Honorable Wangari. But the idea here, Speaker, is actually to crack the whip, especially on management, on the issue of overcrowding, and more importantly, also let's come back home and see how we can carry out the discipline process in homes, not only in schools, and even across the country.
What's the point
Honorable
of
Speaker.
order? Milemba?
Yes.
Take your seat, Meli.
The honorable member, who is also the chair of education, is very well aware that is the one who presided over the intake process of the grade 10. And it was done in such a manner that there was no limit. And schools are under serious pressure, Honorable Speaker. And even preliminary investigations are showing that the girls who banned the dormitory were grade 10. And he presided over that process together with the minister. Is in order to say...
I already directed Milemba that don't say anything that would prejudice The homicide investigation is going on.
Apologize, Honorable Speaker. So please let me ask him to be very, very candid and also very straight that there's something wrong in the policy of intake which has made the students to be completely congested. By the way, Honorable Speaker, it's all in all the boarding schools, and let's do away with the boarding schools. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Carola Mond, what's your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to inform Honorable Meli that all we have been discussing is the hardware, but we have the software, which I did present successfully before his committee, the Education Laws Amendment Act, that would enshrine our national values in the curriculum, because what we are dealing with is failure of national values. Actually, what we are now discussing is the hardware portion of it. But if you look at the situation in Utumishi, it is collapse of the value systems that has led to this crisis. And could now the honorable member, majority leader, speed up the tabling of the education amendment laws so that we can entrench nationhood science as a mandatory subject in our national curriculum to deal with this kind of problem.
Yes,
thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I do agree overall with the honorable member for Suba, because he came before the committee, and that is a very good idea. Suba South, yes. But, Honorable Speaker, I do not agree with my good friend, Honorable Milemba, because I do not preside over admission processes in this country. We oversight the Education Committee, and we did mention to them that problem of overcrowding, and I don't want to go into it because we are having investigations now. But generally, I want to say that our schools, it is not an issue of boarding. It is because majority of us, including Mr. Speaker and myself and everyone else, went to boarding schools. And that time, no one was being banned. No schools were banned at that time. We need to relook again on how we are running our policies and programs on school systems in this country. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll end it here. Honorable Meli, you had members talk of an ad hoc committee to deal with this matter. Your committee under Standing Order 216(5). We don't need an ad hoc committee. Your committee can investigate, inquire into, and report on all matters relating to the mandate, management, activities, administration, operations, and estimates of the assigned ministries and departments. So you can move your committee without being caused by the House to not only look at Utumishi, but all the other schools that are going up in flames, and tell the country what is the problem and what the possible solutions are.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I take it up, and I think that that has been the issue, because when I was discussing yesterday, the IG told us that the homicides are out. Now we are going to sit down and see how we are going to investigate and carry out those issues, not only for Utumishi Academy, but the whole country. Thank you.
Member for Thika, what is it?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just also wanted to inform Honorable Meli, just 1 second, that when we are looking at all these things, in these schools, I think we need to have therapists or counselors. Some of these children, they need somebody to talk to, and then I think the pressure is too much, and they don't know where to wear their issues. So I would say when we are looking into it, we look at their mental wellness, because at times I think they have too much pressure, but they don't know where to vent the pressure. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And honorable members, I think one member said, and I want to encourage, talk to your constituents. Parents have surrendered their children to social media completely. There are hardly any parents who sit with their children to tell them the do's and don'ts of life. The parents feel that once you give your child a smartphone, your problem is over. It's the beginning of an even bigger problem, and we need to deal with that. Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the public gallery HGM Tinganga School from Kiambu Town, Kiambu, Mwanyalo Comprehensive School from Muundanyi, Taita Taveta, Mutwang'ombe School from Mwingi Central, Kitui, Kiriti Senior School from Tetu Nyeri, and from the Speaker's Gallery, Ruadia Girls School from Kangema, Muranga. On my behalf and on behalf of Parliament, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. The next statement, the response, is Gitari in the House. Honorable Gitari, and the Chair, Administration and Internal Security. I've been informed that in Ngeleche, you are holding brief for the Chair. Are you? Are you ready with the statement response?
Speaker.
Go ahead.
Thank you. This is a statement on the operationalization of administrative units in Kirinyaga Central Constituency. Mr. Speaker, the Member of Parliament for Kirinyaga Central Constituency, Honorable Joseph Kitari, has requested to be appraised on the delay in the operationalization of administrative units in his constituency. The Honorable Member particularly sought to be informed, A, the reasons for the delay in operationalization of the administrative units within Kirinyaga County, specifically Kenyei, Kadare, and Kiaga administrative units, and B, the expected timeline for full operationalization of administrative units, including deployment of personnel and provision of the necessary infrastructure. I state as follows. A, the reason for the delay in operationalization of the administrative units within Kirinyaga County, specifically Kenyei, Kadare, and Kiaga administrative units, Honorable Chair, the Ministry has adopted a phased approach in the operationalization of new created administrative units across the country to ensure equitable distribution of resources amongst all counties. This phased implementation was necessitated by budgetary constraints that have affected the deployment of personnel, establishment of offices, and provision of necessary infrastructure and logistical support for the units. Consequently, the operationalization of Kenyei, Kathare, and Kiaga administrative units in Kirinyaga County has experienced delay due to the inadequate funding. Additionally, the Ministry is developing regulations to guide the process and modalities for the creation of gazettement of new administrative units across the country. A key requirement in the gazettement process is the demonstration of adequate public participation in line with the provision of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Additionally, the government must consider the financial implications associated with the establishment of new administrative units, including the issuance of authority to incur expenditure, that is the AIE payment, of personnel emolument and facilitation of officers deployed to the new stations. B, the expected timeline for full operationalization of an administrative unit include deployment of personnel and provision of the necessary infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, the timeline for the full operationalization of the administrative units is dependent on the availability of adequate budgetary resources. Once additional funding are availed, the Ministry will immediately commence the deployment of personnel and provision of the necessary infrastructure and logistical support required for the operationalization of the gazetted administrative units. The Ministry remains committed to bringing government services closer to the people and therefore appeal for the National Assembly to allocate additional resources to enable the Ministry to operationalize all gazetted administrative units across the country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Gitari, that is very clear. Is there anything else you want to prosecute? Yes, Honorable Gitari, there's a mic next to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the response that we've gotten from the Chair. Mr. Speaker, the only thing that I wanted to inform the Chair is that public participation was done for all those sub-locations. Maybe we can talk of the budget constraints and the others, but that was done.
Ngeleche?
Mr. Speaker, the chair is around and I think he can respond to it. He
Once you
just arrived.
start, you go to the end. This is not a relay.
Thank you.
Yes. We'll end it there. Yes, Junet? You give Honorable Junet the mic, yes?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to seek your indulgence on a matter of national importance. Mr. Speaker, you know, we are living in, this house is the house that addresses matters of concern to the people. That's what the Constitution says. And we are in an era, Mr. Speaker, of misinformation, disinformation, and all kinds of things through the social media and all other media, places. So, Mr. Speaker, there is this issue of Ebola in the country, and a lot of issues has been raised about it, quarantine facilities in different parts of the country, but we, as a house, we don't have clear information or clear, information from the executive on how the matter began and what is happening and what is the plan and what is the way forward. So it was, I was seeking your indulgence if you can summon the minister, the CS for Health, to appear before the House so that he can explain and give the correct information to the representative of the people so that we can disseminate the right information to the people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Junet. Honorable members, I was visited in my chamber by the Chair for Health, the Honorable Dr. Nyikal, who sought direction on this matter and wanted to deal with the matter in the committee. The matter was also raised in House Business Committee, and the House Business Committee resolved, and I have directed that tomorrow at 2:45, we will have the Minister for Health, the Honorable Duale, in the House for strictly 1 hour, because tomorrow is an allotted day, and I've instructed the Majority Leader to communicate with the Honorable Duale to be in Parliament not later than 2:30, so that at 2:45, we give him 1 hour, and the members with concerns will make their interventions after he gives a statement to the House. On the same matter, Karoli, what is it?
Honorable Speaker, for the benefit of the general public and pursuant to Article 35, but also I think Section 23 of the Powers and Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, could we also ask the Minister to avail to the House all the relevant agreements and subsequent protocols regarding our cooperation on matters of health with the United States of America?
You ask him when he comes here.
Yes, tomorrow, if he can bring those documents too. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Nyikal?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
On your separate issue, I think on Ebola, we have dealt with it. You wait for tomorrow.
And I just wanted to add a little on Ebola. As we had indicated the committee level, as we'll deal with it in the House, I think there's still need for the committee to go into a lot more details.
Let's deal with the matter tomorrow, then I'll give you direction.
Okay, thanks.
Now I've given you the floor on what you requested.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I had requested, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to make a personal statement on the death of my father, Mzee Eliud Nyikalo Kaka, who died on 11th of April 2026 at the grand old age estimated to be 104 years. He was buried on the 2nd of May this year at our home in Seme constituency in Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I wish on behalf of our family to truly thank this august House and express great appreciation for the support we got from this House and other arms of government and other arms and institutions of government of Kenya starting with you, Mr. Speaker, the clerks of the National Assembly and the Senate, leadership of both houses, and all members of both sides of the divide of the Parliament, I express great appreciation. I express more appreciation for three members of Parliament, Honorable Patrick Munene, Honorable Ron, and Honorable Martin, who coordinated very closely with our family during the preparation for the Mzee's funeral. Mr. Speaker, I also got a message of condolence from His Excellency the President. Many cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries passed their messages. Some principal secretaries also visited our home in Seme to grieve with the family. Mr. Speaker, some of this I did not really expect at all. Mr. Speaker, governors from various counties passed condolences and support to our family. Numerous colleagues from this house visited our home. From the medical fraternity, professional bodies, and academia condoled with us. Mr. Speaker, it is rare for a person who is neither sitting nor a past member of Parliament to be eulogized or even mentioned in this august house. You, Mr. Speaker, offered my father this rare opportunity to be mentioned and eulogized in this house. As a man who valued education, hard work, integrity, and good governance, I believe his spirit will appreciate this. Mr. Speaker, the presence of so many members of Parliament, so many of you, my colleagues, at the burial on the 2nd of May, left me humbled and members of our family speechless. They didn't expect it. Many governors also attended. Mr. Speaker, it was a great and solemn occasion, though tainted by a sad incident towards the end. The incident was when a political leader arrived at the function with a large group of rowdy followers who proceeded to interrupt the funeral. The group harassed political leaders, some of whom had to leave before the service was over. Many mourners were frightened and scattered. Mr. Speaker, this incident raises a serious national issue on how we, as political leaders, conduct ourselves at funerals. Funerals are sad and painful occasions for families where they need utmost peace to grieve. Are they really the occasions to settle political scores with other leaders or demonstrate political might at the expense of grieving families, visitors, and scattering mourners? Should funerals not be just the occasion for leaders to wish families well in their painful circumstances? Is humility not a core of service to the people? Mr. Speaker, is our habit of moving with great and rowdy crowds in our families and disturbing crowds in funerals and disturbing families and the public in general, is it in order? Mr. Speaker, is it not possible that our standing orders may even look at our conduct in public, particularly where there are serious interference to public order? Mr. Speaker, I leave all these questions in the minds of us leaders here for a serious debate now or in the future. But above all, Mr. Speaker, I particularly rose to thank this House, thank you, and thank you all my colleagues for the support you showed when I lost my father. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and the whole House.
Thank you, Dr. Nyikal. Robert Mbui, you had requested to raise something, or is over?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise on Standing Order 83. And this is, Mr. Speaker,
Order members, can you disband those kamkunjis?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise on Standing Order 83, and this is on orderly conduct of debate in the House. Mr. Speaker, Standing Order 83 allows members to raise on points of order when another member is making contribution. And ideally, Mr.
You are out
Speaker,
of order. Who are you menacing? Take your seats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the Standing Order 83 basically deals with a point of order can be raised at any point when a member is on their floor contributing. And this is on any motion or any debate. But Mr. Speaker, we have noted that many times members are interrupted when they are raising their concerns or when they're debating on very frivolous points of order. Mr. Speaker, the standing orders are clear. The matters upon which a member can be interrupted. It could be probably they're being irrelevant, maybe they're being asked to substantiate something. But Mr. Speaker, many times members stand up on points of order, but they don't even mention what point of order and proceed to actually execute their own debates. So Mr. Speaker, my concern is, how do we handle this so that members can get an opportunity to debate, this being a debating chamber? Mr. Speaker, I also wanted to point out the Standing Order number 97, which, Mr. Speaker, deals with the limitation of debate, the amount of time that a member is given to be able to execute their discussion. So, Mr. Speaker, when another member rises on a point of order and you are on the floor and you have a maximum of 5 minutes, does that mean that if that other member spends 5 minutes on frivolous points of order, that 5 minutes is taken out of the member who is on the floor? So, Mr. Speaker, I wanted you to give us direction so that as we organize ourselves to debate, we know how to do it in an orderly manner so that members don't take advantage of the standing orders, which are very clear, and try and attempt to circumvent debate in the floor of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Robert Mbui. I've heard you. The rules of the House are very clear. If a member is on the floor and you are debating something and you embark on a misadventure that is irrelevant to what is on the floor, you attract interventions and interruptions from your colleagues. When they do so, you will not be spared by being given added time. But whoever is in the chair, if the points of order are evidently frivolous, as you've put it, or calculated at wasting your time to pursue your points, the chair has a discretion to give the member on the floor additional time and even to curtail frivolous points of order. Because if you look at the standing orders, a member who consistently and persistently stands on frivolous points of order can be ruled to be out of order and grossly disorderly in his conduct. So this decorum should be observed. But I've always also told you that the cant and banter of debate is such that we are not in a church where the priest's homily is not interfered with. We are in a house of debate. And sometimes interventions and interjections and cross-floor speeches also liven the House. But we will not encourage members who deliberately interrupt others on a manner that is inconsistent with the subject on the floor. The chair will always give you additional time. And I'll speak to my team, from the deputy speaker to my panelists, to ensure that that is done. Yes, Milemba?
This is not frivolous, but the honorable member who has stood on that point of order, we had a chance of this parliament sponsoring us to both the Westminster and Australia. And he was there when we witnessed the type of debate that goes on in the Westminster Parliament. And it's thorough, it is investigative, and guys, people come with real facts and points. And therefore, it's very unfortunate that he wants now to take us back to the boring debates where you cannot be challenged if you're not having the real facts quickly. I would really advise that, and when we came out of the place, Honorable Speaker, we agreed that even those of us in the panel under you must allow debate and facts and challenges. I want to remind Honorable Mbui.
Honorable Milemba, you are saying what I've just said. So you are irrelevant. That is exactly what I said. That when you are in the chair, this is not a church where the priest's homily is not interfered with. This is a house of debate. And if somebody is irrelevant, he will attract the wrath of his colleagues. If somebody is raising good points, I remember when I was in the House of Senate, I would finish my speech of 1 hour and members would demand that I be given extra time to carry on with the debate because you are speaking relevantly and educating your colleagues on issues before the House. But if you stand here and you start attacking your DO, who is not a member of, who is not a subject of debate in this House, certainly you'll attract other members to tell you off. Next order. But thank you for raising that, Robert. We want to have quality debate and members to be given time to debate matters meaningfully. Yes, Millie?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I largely do agree with you, and I think probably what the honorable member is referring to was last week when Honorable Ndindi Nyoro was being taken on by several members. Mr. Speaker, I think that was one of the most lively moments in the House. This is not a funeral, Mr. Speaker, and I even told Honorable Ndindi that he's actually learned the art of opposition very, very well. It's just that we shouldn't personalize issues too much and, you know, take things too much to heart, but raise our issues of concern in a manner that also makes the House lively. It's not a do or die, Mr. Speaker. So I think let us also, we used to call it in the other House comedy hour, but there's many serious things that are said in jest. So we can say our serious issues in jest. I think let's not make this House, and I think you should not be worried because you did a good job even when you're sitting as Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, and I can tell you, Honorable Millie and others, that it is perfectly in order to challenge a member and ask him or her, when was your soul moment? When did you transform from Saul to Paul? This is part of debate in the House, and I would not see anything wrong with that. If you somersault like a chameleon in your debate in the House, you attract your colleagues to challenge you. Next order.
Order number 8, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 17 of 2025, second reading, question to be put.
Rindikiri, take your seats. Honorable members, we will now put the question at order number 8, which is the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 17 of 2025, be now read a second time. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order. Sorry, go ahead.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Public Finance Management Act and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, motion. Report on public petition number 21 of 2026 regarding access to health care by cancer patients in the country. Mover to reply.
Nikal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to reply to the motion for the adoption of the report of the public petition number 21 of 2025 regarding access to the health care in cancer patients in the country. Honored Speaker, at the onset, I wish to sincerely thank all honorable members who have contributed to this motion and shared valuable insights on the challenges facing cancer patients and their families across the country. As Speaker, cancer remains one of the leading causes of morbidity and mortality in Kenya and continue to impose immense social and emotional financial burdens on the affected household. The issue raised by the petitioners therefore touch on matters of great national concern. In considering the petition, the committee engaged relevant stakeholders, including Ministry of Health, the Social Health Authority, healthcare professionals, patient advocacy groups. The committee carefully examined the systemic challenges affecting access to cancer, including inadequate screening and for early detection, unequal contribution of oncology facilities across the country, shortages of specialized healthcare personnel, high costs of diagnosis, treatment, and supportive care, delays in accessing treatment services, limited public awareness on cancer prevention, management, and financial hardships faced by patients. Mr. Speaker, honorable members who contributed to this motion rightly emphasized the need to strengthen preventive health care and screening. The committee agrees that early detection is really the answer, and I think that is part of the recommendations we have. The committee further notes that the concerns raised regarding the concentration of special cancer units in few centers, and members express the need to have cancer facilities and cancer centers in various places, parts of the country, equally distributed, to actually avoid long distance travels and associated expenses. The committee also appreciates the concerns raised in affordability of treatment. Despite ongoing reforms in the health sector, many cancer patients continue to incur significant out-of-pocket expenses. And Mr. Speaker, the members noted, and rightly so, that the benefit package we have for cancer patients now is low, and we recommended that this be increased from 450,000 per year to 800. And Mr. Speaker, I can actually report that that has been acted on, and it is in the report of the committee. Additionally, members highlight the importance of investing in human resource. The committee concurs that increasing number of oncologists and oncology nurses is extremely important. And Mr. Speaker, the committee's recommendations are intended to support ongoing efforts and of the government and other stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, we also noted, and members also rightly noted, that there may be need to actually amend some laws, particularly in relation to SHA. And one of the issues that came about is that SHA is not performing because many patients with cancer actually enroll and get treatment at the same time. So there's need to look at some waiting period. And Mr. Speaker, the committee has actually made proposals on the laws that need to be reviewed. That is part and parcel of this report. Mr. Speaker, if we pass this report as it is, then the next move is to get those proposed amendments in place to try and improve the services for cancer patients and all patients in our country. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply.
Thank you. Members on their feet, take your seats. Professor, take your seat, the nearest. Honorable members, I'll now put the question at order number 9, which is that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Health on its consideration of public petition number 21 of 2025 regarding access to health care by cancer patients in the country, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 8th April 2026. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, on the next order, once it's called, the House Business Committee directed that due to the continuing influx of proposed amendments to the Fisheries Management and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2023, that bill will be stayed for committee consideration to next week. So when we go to committee, as we will right away, we will only deal with the Quality Healthcare and Patient Safety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 41 of 2025. Members, can you call out to the next order?
Order number 10, Committee of the Whole House.
Will you be upstanding, honorable members?
Honorable members, this is the Committee of the Whole House on the Fisheries Management, Quality Health Care and Patient Safety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 41 of 2025. The Majority Leader, the sponsor of the bill. Honorable Owen. Okay, let's proceed.
Clauses 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17.
I propose the question that clause 3 to clause number 17 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 3 to 17 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Order, honorable members. Honorable Bowen. Majority, help me, leader, help me get the attention of the House. Order, honorable members. Members are not even concentrating, so nobody's responding to the ayes have it. Could you disband that Kamkunji? Thank you. Okay, let me repeat that. I propose the question that clause 3 to clause number 17 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 3 to clause number 17 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 18.
I propose. Does it have an amendment? Yes. I propose the question that clause 18 be part of the bill. Mover? Chair Health?
Chair, I move that clause 18 of the bill be amended as in the order paper by inserting the words on recommendation of the Director General immediately after the words Cabinet Secretary. The justification here being the Director General needs to perform the role of developing scope of practice. That is actually what he should. So although officially it will be under the hands of the Cabinet Secretary, but with the in consultation with the Director General.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 18 be amended as proposed. May I put the question? I now put the question that clause 18 be amended as proposed. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 18 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 19, 20, 21, and 22.
I propose the question that clause 19 to 22 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 19 to 22 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
I now propose the question that clause 23 be part of the bill. Mover?
Chair, I propose that clause 23 be amended as in the order paper by inserting the words for their employees immediately after the word training. Basically, it is talking about the training of employees of health facilities, but it was not clear who was being trained. So if we insert the word, the training of their employees, it becomes more specific.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 23 be amended as proposed. I now put the question that clause 23 be amended as proposed. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 23 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 24, 25, and 26.
I now propose the question that clause 24 to 26 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 24 to clause 26 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Oh, yes, your point? Yes, Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, maybe I was a bit distracted, but are we on 27 or 26?
We are on 24 to 26.
Oh, sorry then.
Okay.
Thank you.
I now put the question. I now put the question that clause 24 to 26 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 27.
I now propose the question that clause 27 be part of the bill. Mover?
Beg to move that clause 27 be amended as in the order paper, and we actually deleting J, and this was saying what the authority does, and so when it comes to inspection, if this was done, then subsequently we would remove it from other regulatory authorities. However, the other regulatory authority would still need to inspect, but for the purposes of internship training. So this was removing that, and now we are restating it so that they can continue to inspect, but basically for training of interns. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Millie. Let me propose the question, then I'll give you time to debate it. I propose the question that clause 27 be amended as proposed. Okay, Honorable Millie, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just need clarification from the Chair of Health, because their proposed amendment is actually to delete J, and they has not quite given a good reason for deleting J, because from what the clause 27 says is a function of the authority shall be to inspect and accredit health facilities for purposes of internship and training. I don't know why they think they should not be doing that, unless I misunderstood this amendment.
Chair, you may clarify.
Explanation is that if we establish this authority, it is dealing with facilities, management of facilities. We still have other regulatory authorities that are dealing with the issues of internship and training. So if we then have this in both facilities, then of course there'll be a conflict. So the issue here, if it's removed here, then it now resorts to the regulatory authorities that deal with training and internship.
Yes, Honorable Millie, are you satisfied?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I would want to persuade the chair of the committee otherwise, because even though there are many regulatory authorities that are dealing with training, but it's general training on health matters, but this is specifically on healthcare and patient safety. So it's really very specific. It's not generally about, medical care. And Chair, because this is really, really a good bill, especially for those of us who are concerned about human rights, and because we are focusing specifically on the healthcare of patients, then we are looking at an authority that is looking at training that is tailored specifically to that. So I don't know, I'm requesting the chair if he could reconsider that, because this is a very specialized training.
Yes, Honorable Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Maybe in addition to what Millie is saying, instead of deleting, maybe you can qualify that J by indicating that that training is specific to the safety issues, and that will still sort out the issue.
Okay, Chair.
Chair, if you look, it is about facilities. Like when you go to D, you will see enforce compliance with quality of health care, inspect health facilities for compliance with the quality of health standards. And so what we are really doing here, let me try to explain it further. We are creating this authority, and what this authority is going to do is actually look at the quality of care in facilities. So when it is inspecting, it's inspecting in terms of delivery of services. Now, there are other regulatory authorities like in this, like the Medical Practitioner Dentist Council, the Nursing Council, the Clinical Officers Council. They are particularly for training. So their role is to go and visit those facilities if those facilities are good for training. Facilities may be adequate for offering services, but they may not be adequate for training. Now, what they were trying to avoid is where you have somebody then can say, but I can also qualify this facility for training, but another one says, I don't qualify this facility for training. So we thought, make it very clear, because if you're talking of service provision, the quality of care and so on, that is taken up in all if you look at all the other parts, it dealt with that. So this one of training, particularly internship training, is specific, and we don't want it to be actually be done by more than one authority at the same time. So that is why actually it is being removed from there.
Honorable Millie, are you satisfied now? Because it seems there'd be a conflict on different accreditations.
Madam Chair, I'm not convinced because actually using the same argument, you see other clauses in the same clause that does not just talk about infrastructure. You also have, I can give him for example, it talks about G is establish and implement a system of accreditation of health facilities for quality of healthcare. So it's not just about the infrastructure. However, maybe to move us forward, and maybe Chair, perhaps I would dare say, because I am an expert in mainstreaming human rights, and one of the challenges that we normally face when you are mainstreaming human rights is that when you put them overally in other broader categories, they disappear. And that is why, for instance, that you have a very specific bill on the rights of patients. Otherwise, the Healthcare Act already has, the Health Act already has a section on the rights of patients. But maybe to move us forward, let's go, but there is really no harm leaving it there so that you have a very specific body dealing with the rights, training. Maybe just as Honorable Makali Mulu has said, that perhaps we could have qualified it to say that that the training is specific on human rights or rather on the rights of patients. But maybe to let us forward, I can let it pass.
She's let it pass. Okay, thank you, Honorable Millie, for being gracious. So, where is it? I now put the question that clause 27 be amended as proposed. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 27 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 28.
I now propose the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 29.
I now propose the question that clause 29 be part of the bill. Mover? Chairperson Health?
Chair, I beg to move that clause 29 be amended as in the order paper, and starting with one, inserting the words in the health sector, immediately the words in paragraph F, and if you go into paragraph F, what you find in paragraph F is when you're dealing with the experience, you want experience of this person appointed to be in relation to the health sector. So that is why that other word is being inserted. And if you move into 2, when we are talking of to represent, then we are talking, talking of nominated by, we are looking at if there are people are represented and the appointment is done by the cabinet secretary, that representation is actually lost. So it is normally better that the group that is